Aberdeen's South Market Street, down by the harbour where I am now, features in our next piece of film. This was the starting point for the Fish Run, the convoy of lorries that set out from here on the road south to England. Folk in the towns and villages en route could just about set their watches by the time that the convoy passed through, loaded with fish boxes, often generously spilling fish brie and the accompanying smell onto the road behind them. It was the 1950s, and I'm told that there was one solitary stretch of half a mile of dual carriageway. There were 11 sets of traffic lights between Aberdeen and Perth, and all the notorious hills to be negotiated along the way. Hills like the Shap, where the lorries laboured upwards, knowing that if they had to stop, they might not get started again. And then over the crest and down the other side, using what was known as the Aberdeen Booster to speed them on their way. And the scene here at the harbour is very different now from what it was then. The harbour is full of oil industry traffic, and the road itself, South Market Street, is a constant roar of heavy traffic in both directions. The convoy left here at 3 p.m. every day. In this film, incidentally, heading in the wrong direction, because the camera which filmed it had to get to a tall enough building, the only one available, to get a view of the lorries leaving with the harbour behind them. What you're about to see and hear was made specifically for an English audience. That explains the slightly touristy sounding commentary.
The scene is Aberdeen on any morning of the week. The time, say 6 or 7 a.m. Since the small hours, the trawlers have been coming in. So now, though early in the day, it's quite late in the proceedings, which true Scottish concentration are entirely devoted to fish. And it's not only the human species who have an eye to business. The grandstand's full. Before the rest of the world's had its breakfast, the business begins of marketing tomorrow's. The auction is on. Events move briskly. Everyone concerned is as keen as the morning air. They know their men, they know their market, and all they need to know about fish. First, catch your fish. But there's more to it than that. You have to transport it. And for Aberdeen, that means far and wide. We're the boys of the Fish Run. Our target every day is Manchester, 350 miles away. Every day our lorries do the trip and back the next. The whole round trip for each lorry, 3 times a week, a total of 2,100 miles. It's the finest test you could choose for a wagon. 350 miles may not sound much in these days of jet aircraft, but on the ground, in all weathers, it's a different kettle of fish. To be precise, a 10-ton wagon load of fish, to be driven through the afternoon, the evening and the night, from the northeast down through the heart of Scotland, over the border, down over the hills of Westmorland, and on to Manchester before 6 a.m. next morning. Down in the fish market, all is quiet. The fish has been caught and loaded. Our job is to get it away, efficiently, on time. For this is Aberdeen, where nothing is wasted, including time. 3 p.m. So if you'd like to see the route, we're due to be away once more. That's our last glimpse of the sea at Stonehaven. Now, lovely farms and fertile country, down towards Fordoun and Lawrence Kirk, with Black Angus cattle in their natural setting. Takes one Scot to recognise another. Brechin, and the first 40 miles behind us. 15 more and it'll be time for tea. For down below Forfar is the cafe where we always stop. And that's the sign we've been waiting for. Through the royal borough of Forfar, and a little way below the town, break number 1 will be coming up. It's now somewhere round 5:30. It won't be a long break. Time for a chat and a cup of tea.
This is all that's left of the Loopway Cafe, that popular stopping place just outside Forfar for the drivers on the fish run, the 5 o'clock flyers, as they were known by the staff here. Now it's just a piece of waste ground, but these snaps give an indication of what it was like then. And by coincidence, it sits just behind the newest fast food burger bar on what is now the Forfar bypass.